Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first Q&A for this week, leading up to the 11th episode of The Walking Dead Season 6. I'll label this one as not Untie as a Q&A for it, but it's almost like we're talking about quite a bit episode 10 because we don't know too much about not Untie yet. There hasn't been a description or anything released for it, like I mentioned in the predictions video. So went through the comments from last night, episode 10. Spoiler warning, of course, if you haven't seen it yet. Just a lot of fun. Some really funny comments here that I wanted to add for the Q&A for today, just because some of them are so good. So some people hate the role players. I personally don't. I find them to be funny sometimes. Sometimes it's annoying when they just say the same thing over and over again. So like I say, guys, please don't just say the same thing over and over again. It's kind of annoying. But this one was from Rick Grimes, and it got like over 100 thumbs up. He said, I had Michonne calling Jesus so hard he actually showed up. I like that. And somebody else said below that may have been on Talking Dead. I haven't seen Talking Dead yet, but this one I'm definitely going to watch because Denai Greer was on it, right? So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to watch it this week because I think that's important. And there's apparently some information about the time skip in there. I thought it was only a few weeks, like 3 weeks made sense. But somebody said from Talking Dead that it was like over a month or something. I don't know how long Deanna was out there roaming around. I thought a couple of weeks made sense, like 2.5, 3 weeks made the most sense for me. But I'm going to watch it and see what they said on Talking Dead. So we'll see. Next one is from Domino DiFilippo, and he says, Michonne's clothes now belong to Negan. That's nice. Next one's from Dean Murphy, and he says, the reason Jesus came into the room is because all Michonne was shouting was Jesus, and Rick was putting his stuff in her Thangsss. Oh my God, it's terrible. These are all heavily thumbed up, by the way, in the comment section. Next one's from Alina K. She says, I love the episode. It was so different. Normal and funny for a change. The parts with Daryl, Rick, and Jesus were actually funny. So, this, and hers got, I think, about 6 thumbs up by the time I put it in here. So, her comment. That's true. I guess that's true. It's different. It's just so different from what we're used to for The Walking Dead. You're right. It was actually kind of funny when Jesus, running around and Daryl, runs out and he goes, it actually was pretty funny, to be honest. I did laugh when that was going on, all this craziness is happening. So, it's just so unusual for The Walking Dead. I guess I'm not used to it. I'm like, what's going on? What's happening? It seems so comedic and so funny that he's on the roof and then they stop and he falls over. So it is kind of funny, I guess. I with Walking Dead, I usually watch it waiting to see some crazy, sad stuff or violence or things like that. But it was actually kind of a lighter, funnier, type episode. And if you look at Rick's attitude as well too, which makes sense because now he's in love, this kind of deal, right? He seems and then also he had the epiphany with Carl where he really feels like these people can do it, and he feels like they're really going to be able to build a new world. And Carl's okay, so he's kind of happy that everything worked out with regards to his immediate survivor group for the most part, and that even though I'm sure he was sad that they lost a lot of Alexandrian people, I think he understands now that that's kind of the world, that you could lose people, and that's just kind of part of how it is, but that he feels like, and he has enough hope that they can win in the long run. And also you got to Kevin says here, Rick and Daryl buddy episode, 10 out of 10. And that's funny. And that's true. That is something special about this episode that we haven't really had. I can't think of a time when we've had Rick and Daryl go off together, just the two of them, and, go on supply runs or do things like that. I just don't remember almost any time. Maybe we have never really had one. Definitely not where the two of them by themselves would go off and do something. And that makes this episode kind of special, especially if, one of them doesn't make it out of the season, then it makes it even more special, right? So we'll see what happens with that. But, that was kind of cool when they're listening to music and stuff and just they're giving each other chocolate and stuff. So this is funny. So they played up the Walking Dead family angle pretty good in this one. There was even some lines that included it in that when Michonne was talking to Spencer in that. So that was good, too, as well. Michonne's awesome. So it's a great episode for people who like Michonne. Next one's from Daniel Mezquita, and he says, what an episode. The second half of the season is crazy. RICHONNE is finally here. Jesus is finally here. Great episode. So I'm going to give my thoughts more on the whole RICHONNE thing in tomorrow's video, where we're just going to focus on that 100%. But I didn't even think we were ever going to see it because we've been talking about it for so long, and there's so much setup for it throughout the series that I guess maybe when they sat down, the writers, and they thought it over, they're like, I don't know if they always had that planned out. That's the one thing I'm wondering. Like, did they have that planned out from season 3 or season 4? Did they figure out that that's what they wanted to do, or did it just something the way the episodes naturally evolved that it just kind of made sense for them to do that with the two of them? And we'll look at more specifics in tomorrow's video. But yeah, I'm interested to hear that. Maybe there's something in Talking Dead I can read from. I'll see after this. I'll probably watch it. Or whenever it's playing next. Next one's from Elijah Burton, and he says, every woman Rick has gotten intimate with on the show has died so far. Just saying. And that's actually a part of, around this time in the comic book series, where you have Andrea and Rick and they get together, that's something that Rick is kind of losing hope, and Andrea tells him that it's time for you to come back to life, this kind of deal. There's some good lines in there and stuff like that in the comic book series. You get a second chance, this kind of idea. And they kind of, that's right when they get together. So, but they do talk about that everyone that they've been with, has died. Both Andrea and Rick, everyone they've been intimate with in the comic book series, had been killed off. In the TV series, it doesn't seem as much with Jessie, because her and Rick didn't have a scene where they actually, had sex or anything. So it's a little bit different from the comic book series, but. I suppose you could look at that. I don't know if he really got intimate with her, but it seemed like they were almost there, kind of getting closer to that. But with regards to, Laurie for sure, and I think hasn't that basically been it for who Rick has hooked up with in the series? I mean, not that many, not that many because of Laurie, and then after that, that's it. So, so we'll see what happens. But Michonne is tough as nails, though, right? So Michonne is not going to be someone to be easily killed off. Do I think they're setting up for them to kill off Michonne, something like that? No, I don't think so. I think that both of them are interesting characters, and their dynamic could play off really, really well in the future, and we'll see. And I think she's kind of the Andrea version of the TV series with regards to Rick, and I think it worked out great. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Next one's from David Lascaris. He says, when Daryl and Rick were chasing Jesus in the field, I could swear I heard Benny Hill theme music. Yeah, that's kind of how it was. Very true. Next one's from Benji McFarlane, also from Evan Ritchie, who basically said the same thing. They both, Benji said, that Deanna stuff was so effing weird and kind of stupid. Here, I'm going to take out the F word here because YouTube doesn't like that. Those walkers ate Nicholas completely, and Laurie way back in season 3. Deanna was barely touched, and she was outside of Alexandria. Like, what? It just, that kind of, yeah. So then also Evan said, how was Deanna's body still functioning? So, yeah, you're right. I would say that that's kind of a plot hole, sort of. I mean, it's possible that after everybody had finished with No Way Out, Deanna had somehow wandered out of the house and wandered out of Alexandria, maybe at night or something, and into the woods. So it's possible. Is it likely? Probably not, because there's so many houses around, so much around. People would see her coming out and probably put her down. But it maybe, like I said, maybe if it's at night or something and nobody saw her, then and she's pretty small. It's pretty lightweight, so she's actually a dangerous zombie, because she could be like the one that bit Tyrese, right? The Noah's brother. Nice and light, really hard to hear, this kind of deal. So yeah, she could be a different kind of zombie for sure. Stealth zombie. So she somehow makes her way out of there. But you're right about this part too, and I noticed this, and I didn't mention it in my review, so I wanted to include this. Is really weird that her body was not, like chewed out, right? Because there was a whole bunch of zombies coming out there, and she was shooting off a gun and stuff and screaming. I mean, they should have made her way more decayed than they did. Her body did not seem to be in that bad a shape, but she also didn't seem to be that strong either. If even Carl's able to knock her over, stuff like that. Yeah, so it was an okay. It was an okay zombie appearance. It wasn't one of the best ones we've had, like Sophia in the Barn, or maybe Merle or Shane Zombie. It was okay. We haven't had one for a while though, so it was pretty decent. Next is from Zach Mechiel, 1995. He says, little did Daryl and Rick know they captured Chris Angel. That's funny. I like that one. That's true. Yeah, he's like a magician. He somehow does all these crazy things. Next one from Lavinus Forever says, could you talk a little bit about Carl's aggressiveness towards Enid? I was a little surprised by it. Enid looked very upset because of it. Do you think she will go to Maggie for comfort? Probably, yeah, because they set that up, right? That's a good call right there. But I'm not sure if Enid actually realized that the zombie that was there was Deanna. They didn't really show it kind of seems like, yeah, but she just doesn't want to be out there anymore. I don't know. It kind of seems like Enid may have noticed that it was Deanna, but I'm not sure. That's tough to say either way. I have to watch it again, I think. But Carl's aggressiveness towards her, yeah. So there's lots of studies out there that study pain and aggression, and a lot of times, even if you get, like, let's say you're cooking and you burn yourself or something, aggression seems to be kind of linked to pain, like that. You get something painful happens. A lot of times people can have different responses. Sometimes you could cry or something like that if it's kind of like emotional pain or something. But a lot of times you just get aggressive, right? A lot of people get really, really aggressive when dealing with pain. So, Carl, he's got a lot of things that just happened to him. He just got shot. He just got his eyes shot out. He's still healing, even though he's got the the patch on and everything. He barely made it out, so he's dealt with a lot of pain there. He was having the issues with Ron and stuff. And oh man, if you think about it too, Michonne, she's awesome for Michonne. She even kind of saved him killing Ron, right? Sort of, because he had the gun pointed at Rick and Carl, and who knows what he would have done after. So another thing that she did that's awesome. So just add it to the list, right? But with regards to, Carl just being aggressive towards Enid, I don't think really that I think he doesn't like being inside because he doesn't want himself to kind of get weak, and he feels like the real world is not inside there. That's a camp, but the real world is out there. So he wants to be out there as much as he can. She doesn't want to be anymore, and I think he's just looking for an outlet or somebody to kind of express his aggressiveness, his aggressive urges due to all the pain that he's felt recently. He's just looking for an outlet to just take that on. So even if it could be, him going out and just killing zombies randomly himself, that would make sense as well too, to deal with. That'd be a good sublimation exercise, for, as long as he doesn't get hurt, or he does it in the right way to kind of express his aggression towards somebody else. But doing it towards Enid because she doesn't really want to listen to him, or she kind of doesn't want to stay out there with him. That's the way I would read that. He's just looking for somebody to kind of let that out on, right? So the pain converting into the aggressive urge, drive coming out. That's the way I would break it down psychologically. Next one's from Paul G. Monroe, and he says, I've been playing GTA, obviously. So that'll do it for today. Kind of like a lead off or a response, follow up to my review, where we just kind of add on a few little extra things and talk about it. We'll do lots of Q&As this week as usual, guys. Tomorrow the video we'll focus on just Rick and Michonne, and we'll give our thoughts on it. And send me more questions for the Q&As this week, because we got till episode 11. We got a whole week pretty much. So send me what you got, and if you guys liked this quick one, you can thumb it up below. At least quick for me. You can share, you can favorite, and if you want to subscribe, you want to see all the videos on the channel on almost a daily basis, be sure to subscribe bottom left. That's it for today's. See you guys again tomorrow. So this is Trev, saying peace.